Good evening, and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View tonight. Tonight we've got quite a few people online. I'm not expecting too many people on because I believe the Scotland. Cheers, Lorna, you're an absolute star. I'll get a beer with that this weekend. Right, we'll get some Celtic news in just a minute. Kyogo's new Barnet. Yeah, we're going to talk about Kyogo. And a big shout out to Angelo, who is watching from Australia, and get well soon, mate. You're in hospital. It's in the middle of the night. You can't sleep. Well, I'm sure I'll put you to sleep in just a minute or two. Right. First of all, we need to add this, and we should be able to get this to play. Could do that being on a bigger screen. Why is it showing a bigger screen? Well, let's watch the Kyogo goal. The Kyogo goal. It was on Twitter, but you see Kyogo just doing a run. Looks a little bit off. He's back on side. Typical ball through the middle and bang. Kyogo's never missing that. Kyogo's never missing a goal like that. Not on a day of Sundays. And I'll tell you one thing. I think it was the Tunisia game or friendly. I'm not too sure. And you see Kyogo there getting the plaudits. I'm going to show you a replay. Ball comes through for the midfield player. Kyogo does one of his normal runs behind the defender. That defender that left on for sitting. Kyogo's never missing that. That's a fantastic goal from Kyogo. And you see it from behind the goals. Boom. Fantastic goal for Kyogo, That'll get him right up and fired up for coming back for this weekend. That'll do him the world of good. And I tell you what, you've got a full stadium. Fair play to Japan. So what do you think about that? How do you think that'll affect Kyogo for this weekend? Let's get some of the comments up. Big shout out to Lorna for that one. We'll grab a drink with that. Loving Kyogo's new Barnet. Hail from Paul Baird. And a month of Sundays. Right, let's get to that story. There's a couple of stories I want to talk about. Obviously, the one for Kyogo getting his first goal. The fact that he was replaced by a Feyenoord player. The irony of that. Kyogo will be happy with that finish against Tunisia. Tunisia will be unhappy with the defender, and it was a trademark run for Kyogo. He finds space off the back of the defenders, and the ball gets a nice little ball through him. It's the kind of ball that Callum McGregor or Matt O'Reilly usually try and play him, or Rio Hatate. Daizen Maeda obviously often starts at centre forward for Japan, but he pulled out due to injury, which gave Kyogo his chance to show what he could do in that game. Rio Hatate joined the line up also, but he was in an unusual position. Rio Hatate, believe it or not, was on the left wing. Previously played at fullback. Rio Hatate played fullback. He was further up the pitch today. He played 73 minutes. Rio Hatate playing on the wing. Now, that's something that you would never see at Celtic. Rio Hatate, I can't believe it. Right, there's been another player that plays, has had a game for his national country, and he's been asked about a move back down south. Yes, back down south. Cameron Carter-Vickers has said that he has said to have left the door open to a return to the English Premier League in the future. Of course he's going to say that. Any player that comes to Celtic know that they're going to go. That's just a nonsense story. Total nonsense story. And the centre-back has been vital to the success of Celtic over the past two campaigns. After an initial loan from Tottenham was made permanent, a 25-year-old has formed an impressive partnership with Carl Starfelt, who then left the back line to go to Spain to follow his love, Mr. Lava. The US international earned a call-up for the Qatar World Cup. Despite being hampered by injuries this season, the American boss has called up Carter-Vickers for the doubleheader against Germany and Ghana. It's a nonsense story. It is an actual nonsense story. Well, the outlet said he's happy to continue his career at Celtic. He said he's happy here now. Insisted that the pressure of life at Celtic Park is helping him improve as a player compared to his time down the south of the border. It's a club that always has pressure as Celtic, which makes you think that you need to think and focus all the time. I am playing at my highest level week in, week out. That's not what you want to hear, Cammy. Yeah, if you're not playing at your highest level, you want Cameron Carter-Vickers to go, do you know what? I'm barely getting out of third gear. That's what you want him to say. You don't want him to say you're playing at his highest level, because you want to think that he can maybe improve more, and one day we might be able to sell him to an English club for 25, 30 million. But you never know. As a player, he went on to say, you're playing week in and week out. You kind of get into a rhythm of turning up. I don't think the Celtic fans allow that. A draw in the league is a disaster for the fans. A disaster. It is. It's as bad as a loss. So Cameron Carter-Vickers said, 100% we need to win every game. That's another nonsense story by the media. He's never said nothing about opening the door or even want to go back down south. Anyway, let's get some of the comments. Ewan, how does everyone think about Barra scoring the winner? The fans screaming joy. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Predictions badge for the game on Sunday. The game on Sunday, it depends what. You can't make a prediction because, one, we don't know the team that's going to go out. I think it's going to be. Listen, when you play Hearts away, it either goes one of two ways. It's a really difficult game right through, and we usually score on the break. And sometimes, the odd times, Hearts actually manage to get a goal. I'm going to go for 2-0. Kyogo's on fire. Kyogo's found his shooting boots again. It's the fact that Kyogo scored for his country. And we've got a little guy that is on fire as well. And I'm going to predict that he might actually score from a free kick. Watch out, Lewis Palmer fans, because Lewis Palmer is going to start bending the ball like Beckham. I always wanted to say that. No, I didn't. He's not going to bend the ball like Beckham. He's going to bend it like he's going to do a Lewis Palmer. And he's one guy to watch out. When you think of the way that Lewis Palmer scored his goal for Celtic a couple of weeks ago, the ball came back to him, and he caught it with the underneath of his foot to slam the ball down, to stop the ball, to control the ball, and then he basically took it for. It was like a dead ball situation, and it was some cracker at a goal. I want to see him taking free kicks. Angelo, even though you're sitting in a hospital, you're buying me a pint all the way from America. Thank you for that. You're an absolute star, and I hope you get better soon. So with that being said, I think Celtic will win 2-0. I think it's going to be a fantastic goal for Kyogo. I think that'll be the icing on the cake, but I think that what will make the breakthrough, I've got a funny feeling that Palmer's been posting a lot of Palestine stories on his Twitter, rightly so as far as I'm concerned, because what's going on there is an absolute joke. And I'm not going to talk about it tonight. We'll talk about that another time. Right, let's get back to some Celtic news, because we just spoke about the big man. The fact that Rio Hatate played in an unusual position on the left wing. What does that do to Rio Hatate? Because if they see something in him in Japan, and he kind of goes to the left when he's on the side of the pitch anyway. He kind of goes to that side of the pitch. So is it a good move for Rio Hatate? He can't. Icing on the cake is that. Right. One story that's been kicking about today, and especially down south, and it's something that this guy, when you look back at his time at Celtic, he used to do a lot of interviews during international weeks. Ange Postecoglou has been doing it again. He's been talking about Celtic fans this time, and he's been talking about that Celtic fans meant everything to him. He's reflected on his time at Parkhead, now that he's went down to, he said, after a trophy-laden 2 years, he said he insisted his time at Celtic was far from easy, and he admitted that the support from the Celtic fans meant everything to him. Now, when you think about it, when you have Martin O'Neill, when you have the great Martin O'Neill standing on telly asking you live on TV, don't leave Celtic, basically telling you, look, don't leave Celtic, and we all know what happened, and he's obviously had his team speaking to Tottenham for a while, because you don't make a decision that quick. These talks don't happen that quick. These talks take a while to sort of manifest. But give him his due. Postecoglou said, he said, look, I repaired the rust. I delivered the double in the first season, and then it went on to getting a world record 8th. And I'm glad that he put that bit in. He said he led the club to a world record 8th domestic treble. Okay, we'll forgive you a little bit. The 58-year-old was relentless in his attacking football, and he's had admirers all across Europe. He might have had admirers all across Europe, but let's be fair. We were showing the back end of a totty spoon last year. Come on, it was sometimes good, but it wasn't good. Let's face it, it wasn't good in Europe at all. He said that the reason that he took the Spurs job was because he felt that they were a club that hadn't won anything for a while. He says going to Celtic wasn't easy. You know the history, knowing that Rangers had just won the league, COVID years. COVID years. Celtic didn't win anything the year before. He said, not even a cup. You know you're going to have to turn things around quickly. I've never felt pressure like it before at a club, said Postecoglou. He says, they really wanted to get back playing football. The fans wanted. Celtic have had success, but they knew it was going to take time. The team needed regenerating and needed a whole new team. On the other hand, he said about Celtic, he said, I didn't want the club to go through another year without winning something. Like, mate, you wouldn't have got another year. If you'd went a full year without winning something, you wouldn't have been in the job the second year. And that's just the fact of life with Celtic. They would never have given Ange Postecoglou 2 years if he didn't win a thing in the first year. He went on to say about his time at Celtic, he said, we had a slow start. We lost 3 of our first 6 games, and then we're almost perfect after that. He said, it was just brilliant. He says, you could tell the supporters had their club back. He said, it was a great group of lads over the 2 years. I thought we played superb football. And again, in the manner in which we did, made a biggest impact. Asked about the unwavering support from the Celtic punters, he said, Postecoglou says, it means everything to me because it was tough from the beginning. The fans are the ones who stuck by us and me personally. I can only repay that and give them memories and the experience that will stay with them forever. It was unbelievable 2 years for me, and I loved being manager of that club. The brass neck of the man. Come on. Eh? If you loved being... let's just move on. Anyway, Mikey Johnson. Get a couple of them cans, mate. I've got a can tonight. It's Fanta Lemon. Fanta Lemon. Right, Mikey Johnson. What do you think about Mikey Johnson? Mikey Johnson is getting absolutely... where is Lanky tonight? Anyway, is he on? Lanky, there you go. We lost 10 in a row because our board didn't back Lenny and kept players that wanted away. This is so true, Lanky. That's the hope. You've nailed it. You know, everybody knows the truth. I mean, it all came out. It was their own fault that we lost it. It was their own fault. I always said that when we come to the 9, the hardest one that we were going to win, the hardest one would be the 10. The 9, the road to the 9 was laid in the stars. It was laid in the stars. Fort Tongue comes to mind, when talking about Postecoglou. On the road to the 9 was always going to be a journey, and it was a journey of managers, and it was a journey of managers that were just kind of handing over the baton. The fact that Lenny come in and he was offered the reins to stay for the 10, stay for the 9 first of all, and then the 10. We knew that there was players. Once players got to the 9 and they'd achieved the 9, it was like, did they really need that pressure of the 10? And there was a lot of players coming at the end of their career, you know. And Scott Brown said, he said, look, can we get off the bad memories? Yeah, let's move on. Hearts are going to get pumped. Do you think Hearts are going to get pumped on? I think it's going to be a tight game and it's going to be 2-0. I've not looked at the league for a while, actually. Let's just do that. SPFL table. So, top of the table, obviously. When you look at it, Hearts have managed to do no bad. They got up to, mind you, they lost their last game, didn't they? Because they could have put some pressure on Sevco, and then St Mirren obviously got beat by the Sevco. But when you look at the league, Hearts are only a goal difference of 2. Goals scored away from home, 2. Goals scored 4. Oh, wait a minute. Away from home, they've only scored 2 goals. And at home, they've only scored 4 goals. It's an interesting one. It is an interesting one. They've got themselves up to 4th in the league, which I think a club like Hearts should be, but Celtic being the form that we're in, goal difference of 14. I don't think it's going to be a cricket score, because coming back from international breaks is always a hard one. Hearts are pure wash. Any transfer rumours? The only one I know about is a Korean player and the Ukrainian Real Madrid one. Yeah, that's Reece. That's all that. The one for that Korean player kicked about weeks and weeks ago. I think that's just been one that I don't think. Do we really need another player coming over from Korea? And as far as the Real Madrid keeper, I think any kind of money that we need to spend, we have to get a keeper in the next transfer window. I spoke about it a bit this morning. We need to get a goalkeeper in this next window. And the reason that I think that we need it in the next window is purely for the fact, actually, Martin, I'm going to talk to you about that, because where is Lanky? Because Lanky, you heard something about that rumour as well, didn't you? You heard something about a rumour as that as well. Yeah, let's get back to it. When we come back from international football, it's always a funny game at Celtic, and because you've got guys that are coming from sort of all around the world, it's how will that jet lag affect them? How will that affect them? And I think when you look at the team, it's going to be a good game, but is the jet lag going to affect any of the players that are coming from the other end of the world? Anyway, I don't know. But I still think I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. Definitely going to go for a 2-0 win. Now, a Celtic player that's actually on loan, had a good night. He's had a good weekend playing with Ireland. It's been another busy week for Bosun Lowell. He was called up to the under-21 squad for the Euro 2025 qualifiers against Latvia. And the Celtic star, he started in defence for Ireland, obviously, because he's a defender. And he also had his teammate, Armstrong Okoflex. He seemed like did quite well. We're seemingly raving about him, saying that he did really well. It's another player that, I mean, he's played in defence, and we've got absolutely an abundance of defenders. But the fact that young Bosun Lowell managed to get into the Ireland under-21 team, and he's had a fantastic game. He's another one that I think should be in the Celtic first team squad. Because if you want to bring on players, you need to keep them at Celtic. There's no use having players and putting them out and then buying in four of. I mean, what's going to happen with Phillips? What's going to happen with Phillips? Anyway, that's the news about Bosun Lowell. Lowell helps Ireland under-21s to a victory in Latvia. So that's quite a good headline for him. Get rid of the Postecoglou one, because we're covering that. The Cameron Carter Vickers one was complete nonsense, a non-story again by the Scottish media. And there's quite. I knew this would happen. You can tell it's always a slow news week, because then up comes all the headlines of it. I love being manager of Celtic. And Postecoglou reflects on his time. Next one, Cameron Carter Vickers opens up on Celtic exit. No, he doesn't. He never said. I'm going to actually read this one, because when publications start putting their own twist on things, and he never actually said that he's looking at a Celtic exit. No way. And the internet's running really slow tonight, which is a bit of a shame. Alex McLeish delivers a Celtic reality to new Rangers boss Felipe Clementine. We need to call him Darling Clementine. We need to. How many weeks do you think, this is off subject, but how many weeks do you think it will be until the Clementine gets his first boo? There's bound to be a bookie taking a bet on that. Said on another channel that Rangers manager is a good manager. Board will need to back Rodgers. And Martin, do you really think that he's a good manager? Right, let's get back to that one where we were talking about early goal. real gem of a player. Palmer's going to excite us. And Clement is another victim under Rodgers. Here, there was the one. Martin, he says, I hear Turnbull's heading down south. Can't believe our best midfield threat is leaving for nothing. And the stats back that up. I pretty much agree with the stats when it comes to Turnbull. I pulled them up in another video. It's going to be the case that if Turnbull's not going to get game time, he's going to follow and do what's best for him. He's going to end up leaving Celtic for nothing in the summer. And going down. I mean, he can start talking to clubs in a couple of weeks' time. He can start talking to clubs in a couple of weeks' time. And if he's probably on about 4 or 5 grand or something at Celtic, if you're lucky just now. He can go down and triple that just by going down to another team in one of the lower leagues in England. Anyway, Clement Wine. Yeah, that's so. Hail from Bulgaria. Sorry if I missed comments. There's ones that are just flying through. Hail from Bulgaria, Baz. From Bulgaria. So we've had Bulgaria and we've had someone down under also. In Australia, Angelo. Big shout out to Angelo. Down under. Lying in his hospital bed. I'll try and talk a bit slower so you can go to sleep. Craig Clementine Wine for the Sevco Swine. It's just, he's not going to make that shower better. Do you think that they've really got money? Who cares? Right, let's get to this Cameron Carter story again. Cameron Carter Vickers open to Celtic exit. They're just doing the same headline. Is it the same person that writes the same story and just puts it on different websites? You see that a lot on this. Celtic defender Cameron Carter Vickers admitted for the first time he could be lured from Parkhead in the not so distant future. Aye. Whereabout does he say it? Actually quote him saying it, and he doesn't. He just talks about him making 87 appearances for Celtic, and Carter Vickers enjoyed a variety of loan stints in his playing days down south. Bournemouth, Ipswich, it was a journeyman that wasn't getting. Oh God. Anyway, Carter Vickers did not manage a single Premier League appearance for the London Giants. Jacksy. Nonetheless, he's been called up for his country. Another nothing story. An absolute nothing story. At no point, Carter Vickers, whose deal runs out in 2026, has stressed that he's happy to remain at Celtic and is not agitating for a move. However, if the chance to return to England comes around, the player will not deflate such a transfer scenario. He says, I'm happy where I'm at now. The South End born star told the Sporting News. He's happy. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm happy where I am at now. But they've managed to turn that around and say he's open to a move down south. Unbelievable. What these publications actually come out with. Anyway, I think, Ali Jones, I think you're right. I think Cameron Carter Vickers is well settled. I think it would take it's going to take a top club to have to come in for somebody like Carter Vickers. He was at Spurs. He's not going to go back down south and play for a less team. You know, there's absolutely no chance of that. He's done his journeyman bit in football, and you get players that sometimes get players that come to Celtic and they see them as a stepping stone, and you see them as a stepping stone down south. Now he's obviously came through the youth system at Spurs, and he went out on loan. Now he went out on loan, like that article said, he went out on loan to about 6 different clubs, and none of those clubs put in a permanent offer for him. None of them tried to make it a permanent deal. So either they thought he wasn't good enough, or that he maybe wouldn't make it at any kind of significant level. And then along comes Celtic, obviously, and then turns his career around. Reece Bell says, I love Jota, but he was made at Celtic before he came to this club. The starts weren't the best. Paulo's coming here with high expectations. His international performances are brilliant. He deserves time. I think Paulo Bernardo, it's not criminal that he's not getting game time just now, because the manager has said that he does need that little bit of time just to get in. But again, it comes back to the same thing that we were talking about goalkeepers. If you want a goalkeeper to come in, there's no use getting a goalkeeper on loan the start of next season with a week left of the transfer window to go. If you've got a week left of the transfer window to go, for me, it's absolutely atrocious that we would even think about it. If we want a new goalkeeper for next season, we really need to be thinking as high and as top as we can as players go. And with that being said, it's then we have to get that keeper in now. But if you're going for a second choice keeper, would we sell, if somebody come in for a bid of say 4 million for our second choice keeper just now, who's Scottish, would we sell him? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we would knock back the bid purely for the fact that we've just given them a 3-year deal and we need them for the Scottish contingent for Europe. If we then go next season and there's another Scottish player in David Turnbull, if he then leaves Celtic, Celtic are going to have to start looking at Scottish players. Not so much Scottish-based players, but just players that are Scottish. I've got a happy birthday, Baz. I agree. Cameron Carter-Vickers is going nowhere. He's found his home. Yeah, and I think that also. I think when you get, that's what I'm talking about. When you get players, some players come to Celtic and they think that Celtic's then a stepping stone. There's been many players over the years that came to Celtic and seen that the next big thing is a move down south. And then they get that move down south. And then even Scott Brown said it. Scott Brown said it in many, many interviews. He said, there's been umpteen times when I've had players phone me 6 months down the line and went, Bruni, I made the biggest mistake of my career. It's okay chasing the cash. It's okay chasing the cash and trying to go around the world. But, when it comes to winning things, and look how comfortable Brownie is at the end of his career. He won everything that he could as a player. And he's content and happy with the fact that he's got those medals hanging up in his house. He's got the shirts that he swapped in the Champions League games. He's got pictures and memories. And now he's wanting to move on in his career, and he's moving on to, he wants to be his own man in management. So you can either go one way or the other. And I think if he was to leave, if Cameron Carter-Vickers was to leave, it would have to be a top club. It has to be a top 4 club in England. It's got to be a Liverpool, a Man United, and a Man City, and Arsenal. And notice that Spurs isn't in that top 4, because I think Spurs will fall away towards the end of the season. Anyway, CCP gets a decent offer. The board will sell. Will this sell? Well, you know what, Martin, I'm kind of with you with that also, because the fact that we've got Rocky and we've got young Gustav, and then we've also got Welsh. God, sounds like a bad dream, doesn't it? Sounds like a really bad dream. Baz, a good keeper, knows it's going to be tough. Getting in a good keeper is going to be tough, but we've got the money. We need to go out and scout the best keeper that we can get for our buck. And it has to be a keeper that's going to come in and stay at Celtic. We need another holy goalie. We need another holy goalie that's going to come in and say, right, this team, the majority of this team are on four-year contracts. We're wanting a keeper to come in on a 4-year contract and say, right, this is the nucleus of the team. You're going to be the main man. This is the defence. These are the guys, these 2 guys in front of you. These are on long-term contracts at Celtic. We want you to become best mates. We want you to know what you're thinking before you even think it. That's what good teams do. And that's what good managers bring out in players. Lagertop says, Rambo. Lagertop says, Rambo. Reese Bell says, club, happy birthday. Casey Rootslaw. What? Have a ball. Whose happy birthday is it like? We're never going to pay 15 million. I know that we're never going to pay 15 million, but we're sitting with 70 odd million in the bank. Lanky says, that comment just disappeared. Where did it go? Let's just slow down. Lanky, I missed your message. I need to go into the other page. Give me 2 seconds. No, the messages are just flying through. Can't keep up with them. Right. Cameron Carter-Vickers, we can agree he's probably not going to go anywhere in the next year to 2 years. I don't think he's going to go anywhere in the next 2 years. So that story is just another nothing story. And the media are just trying to make something from nothing. Something from absolutely nothing. And there's once one publication jumps onto it online, there's the Glasgow Evening Times now come out with it just 4 minutes ago, Cameron Carter Vickers, Celtic to Premier League transfer reaction. I'm going to see who wrote that story because I bet it's the same guy that wrote the story for the other three sites that I've just seen the same story on. No, it's just it's got a Ewan Payne, and the writing of the story is almost the exact same. It's almost as if they've just copied and pasted the story. That's enough of that nonsense. Right, what team are we going to pick for the weekend? Because until we get everyone back, I think it's going to be a case of I've actually no idea. Andy says clean the goalies out and start again. Hearts freaking me out every game. Hearts freaking you out. I actually think that Hearts having a good season. Can't stand the media talk on it yet. Neither can I, but I've got to go through it to try and dig out some Celtic news for you. I've got to try and figure out some Celtic news to talk about. Andy says that clear all the goalies out because Hearts freaking him out every game. I thought Joe Hart was actually having a good season. I thought he was playing better than last season. Cameron Carter Vickers to Spurs. Watch this. Both rest Hatate and start Bernardo. Andy, I think that's maybe a good shout considering that Japan just put the Japanese player on the wing. They just put Hatate on the wing for the last game. Just put him on the wing. What do you think about that? Fair listen to you, Baz. Perfect, Lorna. Brilliant. Yeah, what do you think about Hatate playing on the wing? I definitely think that Bernardo needs his chance. I think that Bernardo really needs his chance. I think that when you can see what he can do, I would love to see him and Lewis Palmer in the same team because I think that we could have quite an attacking, scary team when that happens. Right, let's read out some of the comments. Lorna, fairly listening to you. Mr. Dillon, how's you? Cameron Carter Vickers to Spurs. I think so. Can't see it. Can't see it at all. Right. It's a hard one tonight. It is a hard one tonight. There's not a lot of Celtic news going around. I don't think there's much point. And Matt O'Reilly is on par with Paul McStay. Wait, come on. Matt O'Reilly's never on par with Paul McStay. Paul McStay could boss at midfield. If there's any player that's in this current Celtic team that's a bit more like Paul McStay, I would say it was Callum McGregor. Former Celtic midfielder Pat McGinley says that he reckons Matt O'Reilly could have given Paul McStay a run for money in his heyday. Is it too early? What day is it? You can't even can't even have a drink. Jesus, it's not even the weekend. There's absolutely no chance. There's absolutely no chance. Right. Enjoy your night trips away to watch Scotland. Yep. I'm going to go and watch them as well. So I'm going to cut this short and we're going to go and watch Scotland. Have a great night. Have an absolutely fantastic. I didn't even know I was going there. A big shout out to Lorna. Big shout out to Lorna who gifted us £9.99 for a birthday beer. And a big no, this is a bigger shout out because Angelo was sitting down in Australia where it is the middle of the night and he was in the hospital. He's in the hospital when he can't sleep and he sent us up $10, 10 Australian dollars for a pint. So is the Scotland game going to be worth watching? I have no idea, but I might go and watch it anyway. Have a great night, Celtic fans all around the world. And that's it. And it's not ending. Why is it not ending? The internet is not working. The internet is not working. It's not stopping my stream. This is no good. I'm not connected to the internet. What is going on? We're having a malfunction. I'm actually having a meltdown malfunction.